Hi guys, it's Anne here, and today's video is my Pan That Palette update as well as my monthly palette roulette is what I'm calling it. And let's just get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is my Pan That palette, which is the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette in Warm Neutrals. And I've hit a second pan right here. Yay! So I'm definitely doing a lot better on this one than I was doing last year. I think the thing with this palette is I can use it as like a foundation palette. So I actually used this quite a bit this month. Last month it weighed 100.58 grams and today it weighs 99.97 grams. So that's a difference of 0.61. So I basically almost over than doubled my first month of usage. In January I only used 0.26 grams. So I think I'm get my groove with this now. Like I said, I use this most days almost as like a foundation starter palette before I go in with any other palette usually. So I'll put the close-up of the actual pan so you can see the pan, but it's getting bigger by the day. I'm not sure. It's gonna be a race to see who's gonna be next pan. It's gonna be one of these three or this one. My bet is on this one right here, this one, only because I've been using it less than the others, but it feels softer. Like I feel like I'm working through it faster, and I've learned that I'm actually quite liking it. I gravitate towards like the neutrals or the cooler tones, even though this is a warm palette. But then I used this a few times and I was like, oh, I really like that shade. It's quite nice. So I used it a bit more. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm very pleasantly happy with the progress on this palette for this year. Let's quickly recap the palettes for the month of April. The first one I want to talk about is the Profusion Pro Pigment palette. So I did a video wearing this, and it is what I have on my eyes today. So I did this look a little while ago and I really enjoyed it, so I thought I would wear it again for the video. It was a really simple look with just two colors. So the two colors were Devoted, which is this sort of burgundy matte shade, and then Crackle, which is this really nice coppery shiny shade. I enjoyed playing with this palette, but I'll definitely say it's not a beginner palette. Maybe that's why it's called Pro Pigment, because it definitely has its quirks. You definitely have to play with it and really get a feel for each of the shadows because they do perform different than you expect. The next palette I want to talk about is the Zodiac palette. So I use this quite a bit and I really like it. I tried to do a look that was just with like the mattes. I couldn't do it. I kept wanting to use all the shimmer shades just because they're so fun. So I did a look with some of these brown shades over here, like Scorpio, and in person that look was like, oh damn! Probably because I had the shadow like all the way up to my brow bone, and it was like very warm brown, very intense. I think it looked really interesting with blue eyes. But when I took a picture of it, I was like, man, I even filmed a little video of myself to like try and capture it, and it just didn't quite capture how nice that looked and how intense it was. I think had I like did a bit more of a dramatic wing and added some false lashes, like it would have been like a great night out kind of look. So yeah, I love this palette, no regrets. I threw in this little Aurora palette from Anastasia and I thought I'd use it more as eyeshadow. I did use it a few times as like an inner corner highlight, but I've actually been wearing this as highlight. I'm wearing it today. I'm not sure. I guess you can kind of see it. I mean, I obviously gravitate towards Eclipse and Libra, which are like the sort of more easy to wear shades, and I wore the middle shade quite a bit. I don't think I wore either of these two shades. I think I wore the green shade as an eyeshadow maybe, but yeah, it's a really nice palette, to be honest. It's one of those things that I look at and I'm like, there's an inner makeup diva that likes to wear this kind of stuff, and then there's also like practical Anne that's like, this is way out there, why did you buy it? But it's definitely something I'm glad I have, because it definitely is one of those things that makes me enjoy playing with makeup. The next palette I want to talk about is the Huda Nude Light palette. So mine looks a little busted because I dropped it and the shadow broke. I just want to ask anybody out there, if you have this palette, does it smell interesting? quite put my finger on. It's almost like a plasticky smell. It reminds me of like a toy that I had. You know those toys that are kind of like a rubbery plastic? Like, it's not Play-Doh. I don't know. It doesn't smell bad, and I've only had this since, like, I want to say, what, November? Is that when I bought it? I didn't put the date on it. I need to put the date on it. I think I bought this in November, so it's not old, but it just has an interesting smell. Not bad, just different. Anyway, I'm actually going to keep this palette out. I'm not sure if I'll use it in May, but I want to keep it out because I felt like I didn't use it enough in April. I used a lot of the shimmer shades, but I didn't really use the mattes very much. So yeah, I'm going to keep it out just to keep playing with it, maybe, for the month of May. And then lastly, I just had a bunch of singles, mostly Cleona singles. I played with these over the month. I enjoy playing with them. Again, like the Huda palette, I'm going to keep these out. Not sure if I'll use them, but I still want to keep them out and maybe play with them. I created a really nice look with the NYX palette and then this shade from Cleona. It's called Cryosphere, and it's just this, like, it's almost sheer in the way it looks. It's almost like, so I took a little video of it. You know when sun shines on ice and it's got that like glitter bomb look? That's almost what this looks like. Look, it looked really cool because the shadow itself, everything was very neutral, but then it had this like iridescent blue crystallized look. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this out and maybe not play with it, but I'll just keep it out because I want to keep it out. So for the month of May, I again want to kind of keep things a little simple. I felt like I had two really large palettes this past month, so it was a lot of eyeshadow and it was maybe a little overwhelming, so I've kind of maybe pared it down a little bit, even though I am keeping a couple of those palettes out. Anyway, the first thing I actually wanted to use was a cheek palette. It's the Cheek Leaders Mini Pink Squad from Benefit, and I mostly just want to wear this because I am getting so fed up with my Project Pan blush. I'm wearing it today. I'm tired of the color. It's fine. Yeah. And so I thought maybe if I included this, I can layer it, or just take a break from the Project Pan one and use this a little bit. So there's that. This one was one that was a contender for April, and then I decided to bump it to May. This is the Too Faced White Peach palette. I like this palette. I know it's controversial, so I'll just show it close up there. These are maybe I should show it this way, the right way up. There's the shadows there. I enjoy this. This is my kind of a palette. I like these light shades. They're easy to wear. I think, I'm gonna say this, as somebody who's a little older, whose eyes are a little wrinkly, who sometimes can't be bothered with like colorful looks that sometimes look crazy because they get, you know, crepey, and this is just a nice, easy palette. There's just nice, simple colors. They look nice on, and yeah. I also like the smell. I decided to also pull out this Too Faced palette. This is the Chocolate Bonbons palette. Again, people love it or hate it. I like it because it's a bit more of a cool tone palette, and this is kind of like, I don't have to think too hard to use this palette. There are a lot of shades in here, but I find it is very versatile and very easy to like throw on. It'll be interesting using this though with the NYX palette, because I found this with the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, because they were both neutrals. I found it conflicting. It's like, if I'm gonna go neutral, I might as well use my Pan That palette. So we'll see how this works. And the last palette I'm gonna use for this month is the Butter London palette. It's called the Natural Goddess palette. This came in a BoxyCharm, and this just, there's something about this that says May. Maybe because it's Goddess and May is the month of Mary and, I don't know, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. But I just feel like this is a very spring going into summer type palette. So I haven't used the Femme Fatale shade, the like this one over here, but I've used everything else in this palette and I do like it. Diva, I think, is the one that I really, really like. Let's just do a quick. So that's Diva and Queen right there. Yeah, those two are really, really nice. And then I did pick out 3 singles just to play with, and they're all different. One is a pigment. This is the NYX pigment in, I don't know, 11? It's gotta have a shade name. Luna, there we go. I'll swatch all of these together. And then a just regular shadow. This is the Annabelle shadow in Over the Taupe, I think is what the name was. I bought this last year, I think. It's just a taupe shade. It's this me trying to discover a taupe shade that I really liked, and then I finally found it in the NARS one that I was actually looking for. This one's okay. And then I pulled out this little guy from Almay. This was like a spontaneous purchase last year, and I wanted to see what this would look like. I feel like these are similar in effect or in tone. We'll see. We'll see when I swatch them side by side. But yeah, I pulled this out because I pulled this out. So let's see some swatches. So on the top is the NYX pigment. In the middle is that Almay shadow. And then the bottom is the Annabelle one. So you can see the NYX one is a bit more blue based than the Almay one. But they both have that like frosty, iridescent type shape shifting. The Annabelle one, it's called a metallic. I would say it's like a metallic satin. It's not nearly as metallic as some other eyeshadows I have, but it's definitely more than a satin. But yeah. So that's it. That's my Pan That palette update for this past month. A quick review of the palettes that I had chosen for April, and then an introduction for the palettes and shadows I picked for May. I hope you liked this video. If you did, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my tiny little channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.